Today's voiceover talent is more than just a pretty voice.
Pretty voice.
Today's voiceover talent has to be a boss.
A boss.
Join us each week for business owner strategies and success with your hosts Ann Ganguzza and Gabrielle Nistico, along with some of the strongest voices in our industry.
Rock your business.
Rock your business.
Rock your business.
Like a boss.
Like a boss.
Rock your business like a boss.
Rock your business like a boss. A VO boss.
A VO boss.
A VO
Boss.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to the VO Boss Podcast. I'm your host, Ann Ganguzza, along with my VO Boss bestie, female, 45 to 65 age group, who likes sports.
Why are you making me
Rocks,
older? Wait
jewelry.
a minute.
Oh, all right. I'm sorry. 35 to 55 age
Thank
group.
you.
I don't know what the age groups are split up to. I was thinking of myself, and so forgive me because I said
It's
the
okay.
older.
They vary. It's all right, though.
I'm like your older, younger sister.
Yes, it's true.
Anyway, Gabby Nistico.
Hi.
Hey, girl.
How's it going?
I just completely insulted you while I introduced you, so I
it's
apologize.
okay. Not really. I've been old since I was 6, so it's all right.
Age to me, I can't even
Oh, I can't gauge either.
Like,
I don't
are
know.
you 20 or are you 60? I don't know. I don't care.
I don't know either.
So there you go. But Gabby, the reason why I did that is because I need to know who you are so that I can better sell to you and serve you with my products.
Of
and
course.
I think that's something so important for all of us in our businesses to really think about. And I don't know if we're always thinking about that before we start our marketing process. This is called the buyer persona. We need to create those.
Yeah, voice actors do a job at this. Just straight
Gabby,
up.
tell us how you really feel.
Most voice actors don't think in these terms. They just think of, a person who uses voiceover. Well, guys, hello. What
They
does
want
that
a
mean?
nice voice. They want it to sound like this. No, you don't know.
No.
You got no clue until you do a little bit of research.
Yeah. Buyers in every single category, every industry, every service, every product, there are specifics, and you can call them what you want. You can call it a buyer persona. You can call it a demographic. You can call it a profile. So I have this nifty thing that I've been using since back in my radio days. It's called a CNA. Sounds super fancy.
And I've never heard of that, Gabby.
Well, it just stands for Client Needs Analysis. That's all it is. It's a way to analyze who your client is and what their needs are.
Yes.
So, are you doing this, guys?
Yeah.
And if you're not, what the what are you waiting for?
It's every aspect of your business, right? You have to figure out who you're talking to. Whether you're writing an email, every single instance where you try to communicate and sell with your buyer, you have to think about who you're selling to. It's also like branding mixed in the way of that, right? because
there's a presentation component and there's the expectation of the recipient, right? So we all do this. We all have friends that we call up and we're like, "Hey, homie, what's up?" And then, 5 minutes later, we call Grandma. "Hi, Gram, how are you?" Right? We're like two different people.
This is true.
We adapt to the other party, and you have to be capable of doing the same with your buyer.
Absolutely. And when you sell to them, when you perform, right? Your voice as well, right? We're always thinking about, okay, so if we've just booked a commercial for, I'm going to just say, I don't know, Invisalign or something like that. Who is your buyer? If you're looking to get into the commercial genre of voiceover versus corporate narration, pretty much different buyers. Sometimes crossover occurs there, but the people who are looking to book you for the commercials are not necessarily the same people that will book you for a corporate narration.
There is always crossover somewhere, right? And there are always anomalies. There are always things about the buyer we just didn't expect, or there's somebody who's on the cusp of another box. And that's how I look at them. Everybody fits into a box. And these boxes are defined by what? Age, gender, race, economics, education.
Where they live.
Geography. I mean, there's so many components of that.
Kids.
And sometimes I think, people get a little upset because they get into, well, I don't want to do that. I don't want to put people in boxes. Well, you're
stereotyping.
Hello. Have you ever filled out a census form?
Well,
Boxes.
This could go a whole different way, but you have to be careful in terms of that. You do have to a point, when you're figuring out a buyer persona. This is a typical buyer, but be careful not to stereotype too much or to have that get into your marketing where it could be taken differently. Stereotype and persona are two different things.
The difference between stereotype and what we're talking about, a stereotype is a judgment. A stereotype is like your opinions affecting or altering the data. What we're talking about is data. It's fact.
And these are the numbers, Gabby, which caused Facebook a whole lot of trouble. Most recently, because there was data that was collected. Anybody that's out there that is collecting data, right, for marketing, they run into a huge issue if they don't have permission from the people that they're collecting data from.
And by the way, everyone's collecting it.
Yeah, if you didn't know it, guys, Facebook has been collecting data on us since they started. And that was just always kind of a known fact. What I don't want people to do, because so many people get aggravated when they see ads in social media and they get annoyed by them. Well, guess what, guys? You are also trying to market your business. And so keep that in mind when you see ads. We try not to get annoyed at commercials because this is what we do, right? And when you have to sell, you've got to think about things like ads, Facebook ads. And if you're upset that Facebook is collecting information, well, guess what? That's the information you would use to sell to a targeted area. Or if you ever did a Facebook ad, always ask for a target. If you ever wanted to know what demographics, what, your buyer persona, the social media platforms break up the categories very well. So you can get an idea of things like Gabby was just saying, demographics, age, education, family, they own, how many cars do they own? All that sort of stuff, that data is collected. And that stuff is useful when you're selling to them.
You can also check out things like AdWorld and AdAge and the various advertising trades because they do the same thing. Now, here's where it gets interesting. This just happened in our house like 2 days ago. James got a little card in the mail addressed to him, and he opens it up, and it's from Lowe's, the home improvement center. And it's a patriotic, like there's a big American flag on the front, and it just says, "Thank you for your service. With appreciation, Lowe's."
Nice.
And he was like moved. Like he was like, "This is really cool. I can't believe they did this. How do they know this?" So marketing brain kicks in fully, and I'm like, okay, don't take this away from him.
Yeah.
But all I'm thinking in the back of my head while I'm going, "Oh yeah, babe, that's really sweet." All I'm thinking is, they know you're a vet. They know you've used a veteran's discount at the checkout before. They've tracked your information through your Lowe's consumer card. It's a game. It's a marketing game.
This is why we get sent these things in the mail that are like disclaimers from credit card companies about how they're using our information or how they're not using our information. Everything that we have given permission for is being used in this type of data. And it is that same data, guys, that you try to use so that you can get to know who your buyer is better, to be able to serve them better, to be able to market to them. People have to sell, right? To live, right? To live and to maintain their businesses. So
every single detail about your clients potentially become a usable element in your own efforts. And usually what we see is an affiliation, right? Something like a veteran's discount that creates that. People who have children, and the age range of those kids is very important. And pets.
Oh, yeah,
pets
absolutely.
are like a super great way to like get at people's heartstrings. I do this. I'm shameless about it. Any of my clients that I know have animals, like dogs especially, that's what I will send them. I won't send my client a thank you gift. Their dog gets the thank you gift.
Absolutely.
And you
or
would
cats
be
in my case.
amazed. Right. People are like over the moon when their pet gets a present.
Oh, and can I tell you how many times I will send select food, right, to clients that is uniquely perhaps Jerry's food creation, which makes it more special, right, to send to a client. And
or, someone's ethnicity or, again, where they were raised, a geographic component. guys, it's valuable. It's so valuable in what we do. And sometimes voice actors kind of miss that, or I don't know. I think, they feel like everything happens so quickly, right? Inside of a session or the studio and the director. And it's also rush, 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 rush. You have to take a little bit of time to try to gather some of this.
Mm-hmm. And it's a great icebreaker, right? For a client, if you don't want to come at them with a heavy sell, right? It's always something, if you know a little bit about them, like maybe they're from the same area. This is one of the ways that I was approaching Joe Cipriano, because we were both from the East Coast. And so that was my introduction to him. Not like, oh, Joe, like I didn't want anything from him, but we bonded with a commonality, which then started the conversation. And I think that's a super important thing, is that that's what you're trying to do with your client. You're trying to start the conversation, and knowing information about your buyer in not a creepy way. Let me just rephrase, in not a creepy way, let me just say that again, is a good thing, because it can open up a conversation. It can start a relationship.
It's showing genuine interest, and it's getting that individual talking. And we've all had a conversation with someone who asked great questions and really got us going. And, and afterward you kind of walk away and go, man, that person was so nice, so great. Not really. They were just an epic listener. And
that's a great quality.
But it gives us this impression of what's the book? How to Win Friends and Influence People, right?
And influence others or something. Yeah,
Dale Carnegie. Yeah, It's a classic, and I mean, this book is like 100 years old and still absolutely valid in terms of how to get beyond just a business handshake and actually get to know people.
So I think some people, when they start trying to market their business, they're kind of scared of personas. They're scared that it's going to seem creepy and stalkery. And so you have to really kind of turn it into that genuine interest and genuine, wanting to help someone else, and realize that there is a fine line. I mean, there are companies that will use that data for bad things, but that's not going to be your business, right? Your business is going to be just to find out enough about the client so that you can serve them better, so that you can talk to them, so that you can market to them better, because you will be solving a problem. That's a big thing. Your service is going to solve a problem for them.
This is how you take an email list or your CRM and convert it into specific marketing messages and specific information.
Yes.
Yeah. It's like we said earlier, certain clients of ours have very specific needs. You don't want to bog down everyone with a message if it's only relevant to 25% of your audience.
Exactly. For example, just gender, right? I mean, you might speak on a different topic to a female buyer than, let's say, a male buyer, because the interest point or your conversation point starts differently.
I think really it comes down to gathering data in a way that is organized, in a way that doesn't overwhelm you, but then having some very strategic ideas on how to implement it and use it.
And make sure that data, when you collect that data, it's legal. How you got that data, it's not like a list that was, somehow got into the wrong hands, or you just make sure that information is something that people have given their permission for, and you will avoid.
And sometimes in our industry, look, guys, this is an opportunity to go old school. This is literally pull up your CRM while you're in conversation with somebody, ask them a question or two, and type in the answer in a notes section. Yeah, this is that's what I do. I mean, I have certain clients where when I pull up their record, it's literally like, has a chihuahua,
Exactly.
Wife just gave birth, they have a 3-year-old, whatever.
Oh, yeah. So I think, Gabby, it's when you have the client, it's great to be able to collect information. But if you don't have the client, that's where the educated research and guess guys, there is no hard, fast answer if you don't know the client that you're trying to reach, right? You have an idea of who they are, and then what you do is you build a persona, a buyer persona of what you perceive them to be needing. And a lot of that you can research. Google is your friend. Research their industry, research their needs, listen to their conversations on social media, and find out what it is that they need to solve their problems in their business. And I think that's a great start in developing buyer personas when you haven't met the buyer yet.
Yep. And then you modify them as you go.
It's not an exact science, and this is why there are marketing departments in companies. This is what they do. So develop a buyer persona, guys, and it's going to make your world a whole lot easier, your business a whole lot easier to be able to talk, sell, and serve.
A company that did this really well, as we all know, is IPDTL, right? When they got this sucker started, it was targeting very specific industries that could use the application. VoiceOver is only one of many. Every time we talk to Kevin, Ann and I are amazed by
branching out everywhere.
He's at NAB. He's at this thing, a podcasting conference.
Yep.
We're like, holy moly. Here we are thinking,
it's just voiceover.
Yeah, we're the voice actors.
Not.
We're superior. No. Not by a long
shot. He hooked
shot.
me from the beginning, I'll tell you that, because we love our IPDTL. That is for sure.
The accent.
So, guys, if you want to connect like a boss, check them out at ipdtl.com.
And, of course, I have to mention our other sponsor, voiceovers.com. Fair, efficient, transparent. It is a new era of voiceover casting online, and we want you to be a part of it. Go check them out.
Yeah, and by the way, if they are absolutely target marketing. So take a listen to Matt's videos that he's been putting out. He's been giving out a lot of really great information about how they are targeting specific potential clients. So you can learn a lot from that, too, and we love them over there at voiceovers.com. Guys, have a great week, and we'll see you next week. Bye-bye. Bye.
Join us next week for another edition of VO Boss with your hosts, Ann Ganguzza and Gabby Nistico. All rights reserved. Ann Ganguzza voice talent in association with 3 Moon Media. Redistribution with permission. Coast-to-coast connectivity via IPDTL.
Buyer personas. Buyer personas. But I might have to pee. Can you give me a minute while I pee?
Woman, go. Hurry
All right,
up.
I'm quick.
I got to do.
What are you doing?
We're going to go shopping.
Oh.
I don't get out of the house.
Okay. All right. I'm getting in. I'm not going to go pee. I just got in. I was like, hoo-ha. And you didn't say anything because you didn't hear me.
I didn't hear you. Hoo-ha.
That's me why I'm saying hoo-ha.
Because it's a fun word to say. Or words.
I like ATS.
This doesn't have to do with our topic. I'm going to melt in here.
I was in great storytelling mode, and I didn't press record. But
because you're a genius.
And the other story I have. So last night I watched this movie.
There's more stories. Did you press record this time?
Yes. I always try to watch creative things when Jerry's away. Things that I'm not sure that he'll be into, right? So I watched this movie called Middlemen. It's about the first instance of payments on the web. Back in 1990-something. And these 2 guys who were able to create this program that would take a credit card from anywhere. But it was so funny because they had some great music, and it was like some really good throwback scenes to the old days of the Internet. It made me miss the old days of the Internet.
Tell me more about the old days, Ann.
Well, when you were discovering it was just cool.
Yeah.
Because I'm telling a story, Jerry. I mean, Gabby.
You know what? I only wish my was as magnificent as Jerry's. That's all I can say to that.
That is not going into the outtakes.
Oh, yes, it is.
Oh, it is not going out.
Yes, it is.
And how do you know how magnificent?
I'm only making an assumption. I know you, and I know how fabulous you are, so I can only assume that that's a magnificent penis.
Oh, my.
I feel like that's the sign above the entryway. Like, it must be magnificent or fuck off.
It must be magnificent. Just a blinking neon sign. It must be magnificent. Can you imagine? The lock at the door that says, don't you know who I am? Because I just served up a kick-ass cease and desist.
Yes, you did.
Bam.
Because I'm going to buy Mod Podge, so send me paper.
Oh, I love Mod Podge. I went through my drawers. All my Mod Podge is like dry. It just sounds bad. My Mod Podge is menopausal.
My Mod Podge is dry.
It's all dry and flaky.
Oh, God. Come on, woman.
It's hot, man.
I know it is. What is it, all of 85 degrees there?
I have a webinar. It's 65, and don't judge.
Oh, my God.
But
you would die here in the summer.
But I'm in this little booth. Oh, I know.
My booth in July, I'm panting. It's so hot. Okay?
Look, I'm just going to say that since I moved to California, I've become a complete weather wimp. Mm-hmm. A complete weather wimp. Because
I know.
Literally, if it's over 75, I'm dying of heat.
Focus, grasshopper.
Okay.